just introducing yourself and your role here. That'd be great.
Sheena Wrigley. I'm the theatre director for the Palace Theatre and Opera House.
And could you just tell me what it's been like for the past 18 months with COVID and being closed, and how you sort of managed that?
It's been really strange, the weirdest time I've had in many years of working in theatre. We had both buildings closed from the 20th of March 2020, and really until about 6-8 weeks ago we barely opened either building to staff or to visitors or contractors. So we really closed them down, mothballed them, put all the heating off, put as much electricity off as possible. They were like ghost ships, and they're not buildings that are supposed to be empty. These are buildings that are always full of life. They always have people in them. They have exciting, bright colours, noise, crowds, musicals. So it's been very, very strange being in them alone a lot of the time and wandering about in the sort of semi-darkness, just making sure they were okay and that they weren't deteriorating too much.
And could you just tell me what you've got planned once now you can open back up? So what shows you have going on and how you're preparing for those?
Right, so we started preparing really seriously about 2.5 months ago. There's a lot of work, as you can imagine, to get the buildings up and ready for the public to come in again. These are really old buildings, so the fact that nobody's been in them for 1.5 years means that there is some deterioration. We've lost, boilers that wouldn't refire. We've lost bits of electrical problems. We've had just decorative deterioration, really, that if we didn't been in them all the time, we would have been looking after them all the time. Our maintenance team would be taking care of them, but that wasn't possible. So a lot of work around that, a lot of work preparing for the new COVID protocols that will be operating when we open. Recruiting staff, we've lost quite a lot of staff over the last 18 months. All our staff were furloughed, but in that time people have perhaps moved on, got other jobs, or they've decided that this isn't the industry they want to be part of anymore, which is very sad. So we've done a lot of recruitment. That's still going on now, and it will be a problem because we'll open with less people than perhaps we should have. But the really exciting thing is that we've got a very, very busy programme for the autumn and the winter and going on into 2022. We start with quite a different show here. We're starting with Woman in Black, which is, of course is a ghostly thriller. And as the person who spent a lot of time during the winter months wandering about this theatre when it was dark, I know how spooky this building can feel. So it's something quite exciting to see that show coming onto the stage and chilling the audiences, even if it's in the middle of a heat wave. Down the road at the Opera House, we're opening with Adam Kay and his hit one-night shows, This Is Going to Hurt. And then we go into a full-on week of Rocky Horror, which is selling really, really well, and that will, of course, be a crazy celebration party. Lots of people coming to see that. Hopefully, as always with Rocky, lots of people dressing up, lots of people singing along, lots of people participating. So I think it will just feel like a real energising opening for the Opera House. And then we go into the autumn with Bat Out of Hell. We have some real favourites like Hairspray and Grease and Priscilla coming back in the autumn, but we've also got some really new musicals, things that have been in London, haven't been out into the other cities of the UK. So this autumn we're going to be doing the first tour of Heathers, we're going to be doing the first tour of Waitress, and there's a couple of new shows. Bedknobs and Broomsticks is a brand new adaptation of the Disney classic film, which will be touring this autumn, a family piece, which we're all really excited about. And a show based on the life, the times, and the music of the Osmond brothers from the 1970s and 80s. So lots of kind of new stuff, actually, and fresh stuff mixed in with some old classics that I think people will just come out and have a great night out.
And do you have any COVID protocols that are going to be in place once you reopen? I'm not quite sure what the rules are at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're always going to follow whatever government guidance is, but I think with a lot of entertainment venues at the moment, we're having to make our own call on what protocols we feel comfortable implementing. It's really important to us that that we do what we think will make most of our audience feel safe and secure. And we've also got a duty of care to our staff as well. So these are old buildings. We're in quite a light, airy bar at the moment. It's quite a big space with a lot of natural ventilation. That's not typical of either the Palace or the Opera House. The theatres have quite narrow corridors. Obviously, they're used to being quite full. So we are going to put some protocols in place. We will be asking people to wear masks. Obviously, we're strongly guiding them to do so. Obviously, people have drinks, they have food, and just like on a train or in an aeroplane, we'll understand that people may want to remove their masks for that. We are going to be looking for proof of either vaccination, a negative test, or immunity. I'll try that again. We are going to be looking for some proof of either vaccination, a recent lateral flow test, or immunity, and we are going to be communicating that to all ticket buyers well in advance of the night at the theatre, to explain to them what the protocols will be, what information we're going to need them to be able to evidence for us, and how that will work as they arrive at the theatre. The other things we're doing are are going to be a cashless venue from reopening, so we won't have so many surfaces for people to touch. Lots of deep cleaning, lots of hand sanitizer available. We're redoing a lot of our ventilation systems, and just generally asking people to be considerate, to move around the space, with generosity and consideration for other patrons, and our staff will just helping people find an easy flow around the building that hopefully will avoid congestion as much as possible.
And I was just curious to know about the sort of funding side of it. So I know that you moved a lot of the tickets around, or people could get refunds for things that were cancelled, but I just wondered, did you do any fundraising or anything to sort of keep them going and keep the maintenance of the buildings?
No, we've been because we're a commercial theatre, so we don't have any government grants normally. We weren't able to apply for any of the government assistance that came to a lot of the other theatres in the city through the Cultural Recovery Fund money. What we were able to do is take advantage of some of the rate rebate grants that Manchester City Council were able to offer to us, which has been really, really important, really appreciated. We also were awarded a sort of small exceptional cultural grant in recognition that we'd had no other support. So that's been really helpful. In both cases, that's gone into just maintaining the building, adding to the cleaning that we're doing before reopening, the repair work that I've already mentioned, those sort of things. So yeah, that's really all we've been able to do. A lot of people have kept their tickets. I mean, obviously, some people have wanted refunds or needed refunds. Some people had had booked for shows that aren't coming back for 2 or 3 years, like the really big shows like Lion King. And that's been more difficult for them because, not everybody can afford to have that much money tied up in a ticket that they won't use for 18 months. But a lot of people have decided to keep their tickets or move their tickets to the next booking of the show, or take a credit voucher and keep that money in theatre tickets. And that's been really, really helpful. And I know I'm not alone in saying how much all the theatres have appreciated patrons who can afford to, just leaving the credit there with the theatres to be picked up again once we reopen. So yeah, we've got a lot of people who have credit vouchers that we're really keen to get them spending them, using them, so we can fill the houses again. Yeah,
that's great. And is there anything else that you wanted to mention in terms of reopening, or?
Yeah, I think this is an industry that's been really, really hard hit. We're the first to close. We're going to be one of the very, very last to open, and that's obviously had a huge impact on the people who work in this industry. There are a lot of people who have left the industry, as I alluded to before, either because their work has completely dried up and they've not been able to access any government support. Less so in this theatre, because a lot of us, we don't have the same number of creative staff working with us that some of the others do. But it's made a real impact on this industry. It's shaken a lot of the confidence of producers and investors who are making shows that we all love to come and see. I think it will be, although there will be lots of lovely shows and we will have a great programme in the next 12 months, I think there's going to be a long tail of impact on the theatre industry across the UK that we we probably won't appreciate for another couple of years yet.
Okay, that's great.